Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Wittenberg. I am going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I earned my bachelor's and master's degrees in special education, and I'm also currently in school to earn my board certified behavior analyst certificate. I began working in New York City public schools in District 75, the citywide special education district. I worked with grades 3 and 4 in a self contained classroom for students with emotional and behavioral difficulties. I then worked in a kindergarten class for students with autism in the same school. After moving to Massachusetts, I started working in a sub separate program in Sudbury Public Schools. The program serves students with social, emotional, and behavioral difficulties, and I worked with grades K through 3. During this time, I also began working at URJ Eisner Camp in Great Barrington, Massachusetts during the summers as the inclusion coordinator. As of August 2013, I have been working at Temple Beth Shalom in Needham, Massachusetts as the learning specialist. Now that you know a little bit about me, I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about working with people with anxiety. While this webinar is geared toward younger children, the strategies that can be learned are applicable to all learners in all areas of congregational life. Anxiety is something that can occur in everyone. The severity of it is what can cause it to get in the way of learning, programs, and relationships. Many of us see people enter a synagogue with hesitation for various reasons. Maybe they are new, don't have friends, or had a prior experience that didn't go well. Getting someone to become involved in a space that they are feeling nervous about can be difficult, but this webinar should help you to get started. Building a relationship with a person, specifically someone who is anxious, is extremely important. Start by asking questions. These questions should help you elicit responses about how that person is feeling. Let them see that you care. These questions are not about you. However, when you can relate to what the person is telling you, use that as a way to connect. If the person you're talking to brings up about being nervous going to religious school for the first time, you could talk about how you were nervous at that time as well. For example, if you are using the person's language and a 10-year-old says to you that he is talking about his worries or his feelings in regards to the situation, go with it. Don't bring up the word anxiety if the other person doesn't use it first. Ask how he or she is feeling. It will generally help you identify the language that's used at home or in school. Previewing is a great way to ease a person's anxiety. A general idea of what will happen next without too many details is ideal. When you provide too many details, a person can get stuck on one of them, especially if they don't feel good about it. A flow of the day is a great example of previewing. An educator that I work with created what you see on the right. The photo on the top shows a general layout of her afternoon with her second and third graders. Since there are unfamiliar words, she also uses pictures to represent the words. The schedule reads Mifgash meeting, Masoret, snack, exploration, tefillah. By using Velcro, she's able to change things like the time of snack for a special activity. The sign on the bottom tells her students what will happen during Mifgash meeting. It's structured similarly to Morning Circle in schools, and it reads greeting, sharing, activity, message. Although it outlines Mifgash meeting, it is still vague enough that her students won't spend much time wondering about which greeting they're doing or which activity they will do that day. This also provides opportunity for nervous students to ask questions if they choose to. Previewing a space can be equally important. A person can do it by coming to see the building in person, but may opt to do it with the use of a phone or iPad. Skype, FaceTime, and Google Hangout are all platforms that will allow you to view something in real time. The video you're about to watch is just an example of videotaping a space for someone to see. If you can do this videotaping using an app that we talked about earlier, it will allow the person the opportunity to ask questions. As you saw in that video, there was no opportunity to ask questions. In addition, you want to make sure that the space is set up for the activity and what it will actually look like. If the room will not be set up the way it looks in the video, the student will feel anxious when they see the room laid out differently. In addition to previewing the space and giving a general layout of the activity, there should be a separate place in the room or in a break room, depending on the age of the person and the staff available. What you see here is generally for somebody younger. A break or a calm down space can be designed with things the person can use to calm down. Some ideas that you see in the pictures to the right are beanbag chairs and fidgets. You can always provide books, Play-Doh, or other things that a person might be interested in to get their mind off of what is causing their anxiety. Creating a go-to person might be enough for someone to know there's someone checking in on him or her. They could ask for that person instead of needing to go to a separate place. When making a plan for this person, ask them which one they prefer, or if they want both options put in place. Just be careful not to assign too many people to one go-to person. Ideally, each person would have their own, but that would depend on available resources. So now that you have everything set up for the activity, class, or program to ensure that this person will be comfortable, what do you do next? What happens during the program? Frequent check-ins are important. However, you can observe without everyone else in the room knowing why you're there. If you could find a way to ask the person how he or she is doing, possibly with a silent hand signal like a thumbs up or down, is the best approach. If everything is fine, you can just keep observing or leave the room for a while. When you come back another time, just give that person a quiet reminder that you're there if needed. Often seeing the go-to person will alleviate some nervous feelings. The next time you check back in, positive statements, praise, or encouragement about what the person is doing is necessary. Facial expressions are a great way to show someone that you're proud of them without drawing too much attention. If at any of the check-ins someone isn't doing well, giving choices about how to proceed is a good way to approach this. Be careful not to give too many choices though. For younger children, grades K through 5, 2 choices is more than enough. More than that might cause more anxiety. Grade 6 to 12 could have a third choice, but the more you know a person, the more you'll know what they need. Fidgets are another option of something you can use. Here are 2 examples of fidgets that I often use for students with anxiety. The stretch ball on the left allows someone to squeeze their worries into the ball. That language is something I often use with my students. I would not suggest having students stretch the ball, even though it's called that. They do break fairly easily. When I give one to a student, we go over my rules for using it. They cannot throw it, roll it, give it to somebody else. I also give them permission to say, Sarah told me I'm not allowed to, if a peer wants to know why they can't play with it. The fidget on the right is made up of little wooden blocks that are attached by plastic. This fidget allows someone to do something with his or her hands and still be able to listen to what's happening. It's also great for students with inattention. Calm breathing is a great way to help a person calm down when he or she is feeling anxious. Deep breathing through the nose and slowly out of the mouth is best. Sometimes it helps if you tell the student to pretend that he or she is blowing through a straw. You could even give that person a straw if you think it'll help. I always tell students that the magic number is 3. This generally allows them to take a practice breath, for you to then correct it, usually by making them breathe out more slowly, and then for him or her to master it. When a person overreacts to what's happening due to anxiety, the how big is my problem scale can also be a useful tool. You could see it on the right of your screen. It allows people to understand and categorize what is happening and how it can be handled. For children above 3rd grade, I would suggest removing the faces on the chart. If there are one or two people you're working with regularly around their anxiety, making cards that identify strategies that he or she has used in the past to get through a similar situation may also be helpful. You could pull them out each time and show the person what they did in the past and suggest that they try it again. Visual timers for breaks or for how much time is left until a transition are great as well. On this slide, there are links to both of those, as well as a link to the Anxiety BC webpage. There are helpful tips for parents that can also work in a school or a temple setting. I hope that each of you walk away with something new and are able to apply it in your setting. Please feel free to contact me with any questions.